So her husband knew that he had COVID and he chose to go to work every single day. And the wife is like, that is irresponsible. Totally irresponsible. You remember this? So on Thursdays, we ask you guys to hit us up and say, are there Bert Show storylines that you guys never got closure on? And remind us so we can do the homework on it. We can get closure also. And yeah, this is the one about the wife that had to narc on her husband.
Yeah, we last got an update exactly 1 month ago. So we're going way back for this one. On January 24th, 22. Her husband tested positive for COVID after being exposed by a friend of his. He was asymptomatic with no symptoms. She told him that he needed to stay home from work until he was all better and test negative. He said absolutely not. He's paid hourly, insisted they couldn't afford to lose a single day of pay. He thought COVID had been overblown since the beginning. He thinks it's nothing worse than a common cold. She decided to send his boss an email. He was very honest about the entire situation. She asked his boss to be sympathetic to how desperate her husband felt to collect a full paycheck. Then she humbly asked if there was any way he can send her husband home for a proper period of quarantine, if there was any way it could be done in a way that would not affect his paycheck. Her husband went to work that day. She didn't hear back from his boss. Nearly the entire day went by, and it didn't seem like anything had happened. So she emailed his boss again. He wrote back, and his response was just, I did, thanks. Later that evening, her husband came home, and it seems as though nothing had happened. He was still acting completely normal. She asked him, how was your day? He said, fine, why? Then she asked if he had seen or spoken to his manager at all. He said that he had seen him briefly, but didn't speak to him. He was obviously confused as why she was asking at this point. She was angry that it seemed that not only did my husband not care that he was putting other people at risk, but also his boss didn't care. She blew up at her husband and told him that she had emailed his boss. He was furious. Her husband said that hospitals are calling COVID-positive staff members back to work as long as they don't have symptoms, and if doctors and nurses can return, then so can he. He told her he didn't want to hear anything else about it, or else he would leave and not come back until the entire damn virus is history. So what happened since?
Wow. Okay.
Ooh. Buckle in.
All right.
Hi, Bert Show.
Hi.
Yes, I can confirm that his boss did receive the email I sent, and he did intentionally choose to ignore it. I know this because I was so furious that I emailed him again and insisted on a response. Here was my email to him. Roger, I would like an acknowledgement of my previous email and confirmation that you received it. I had notified you that one of your employees, my husband, had tested positive for COVID and was continuing to work rather than quarantine. As the person responsible for the safety of his employees, I assumed you would want to know about the risk to their health. Please confirm you have received my emails. And this was his response. Received. Obviously, I was furious. Just a simple, quote-unquote, received, with no action on his behalf. So then I wrote,
Well, at least he responded.
please let me know what action you plan to take to protect the health of your employees.
Nah, now she's digging.
Is she? He wrote back, nothing. That was it. My response, Roger, that is unacceptable. My husband tested positive for COVID, likely after being exposed at work under your watch. Now you are allowing him to continue to work and expose others? It is irresponsible and dangerous for you to allow him to work and not notify those who may have been exposed. The proper policy would be to insist your employees quarantine until they receive a negative test while you continue to pay them. Any employee who was in close contact with a positive employee should also do the same. His response. Okay, there's a few words in this one. I have a business to run. I do not have time to worry about the petty concerns of my employees' spouses.
Oof.
If you are
Petty.
If you are unhappy with the work conditions that your husband must endure, I suggest you handle it at home and make decisions for your own family. I will not take company time or personal time acknowledging emails from those who got no input in our operations. If this annoying behavior continues, I will have no choice but to end your husband's employment.
Oh.
I would tread very carefully moving forward. Roger. Roger must not have said anything to my husband because he did not call or come home angry at me. As far as I know, my husband is not aware of this exchange at all. What did happen is that my husband's hours have now been cut back dramatically. And as a result, we are really struggling. I can't help but think this is Roger's retaliation towards me. I had hoped it wasn't and that we'd see a return to normal work hours. However, it's been about a month and it hasn't happened. I haven't decided yet if I should tell my husband the real reason for them cutting his hours. My husband had hoped that there was a temporary reason and didn't want to search for another job since he likes it there and thinks they pay well for his position. However, I don't think this is temporary. I will let you know if the situation changes. I'm just trying really hard to control my anger.
Well, inevitably, she got what she wanted. So the husband is putting the employees, the coworkers, at less risk because he's there less. But do you say something to him about it?
I wouldn't bring it up.
What
I
good
would.
would it do?
I would even apologize to the boss. Be like, I'm sorry for inserting myself.
Yeah.
And see if that recovers the hours that he's missing out on. Because, I mean, she was wrong. He should have spoke for himself. He's way past the quarantine period. So her being like, "What are you going to do going forward?" That's not your business.
Yeah, she did what she thought was right in the beginning by sending the email, and the boss chose to do with that email as he pleased with his company and his employees. At that point in time, she should have bowed out.
But at some point, when his hours are cut so much and they don't have any cash, and he starts looking for another job, does she tell him then why?
I think that's one of those things you just kind of keep to yourself.
You think keep yourself no matter what?
Yep.
That's it?
I'd say
Never bring it up.
Yeah. Take this one to your death.
Yeah, you might as well not bring this one up.
Yeah,
It's
let it
not
go.
going to do any good. Let
It's
it
not going
go.
to change anything.
No.
Big ol' L.
No, it's a huge L.
All right.
The Bert Show.